Kirby in the Forgotten Land has gotten some pretty interesting new information throughout trailers, but also random gameplay drops throughout Twitter from the Japanese websites. So we now have more footage of Kirby in his MOUTHFUL modes and all the different transformations that we have seen so far. Now of course this is only what we have been shown, but this seems to be the majority of what we are going to get, at least for now. So I'm going to go over each gameplay trailer bit and talk about things that you may have missed and dive further into this MOUTHFUL mode. First, we have Carmouth, or what fans like to call it, Kirby. Now, with this, it looks like Kirby is able to boost forward with his exhaust and his little feet getting burnt up as he's doing it, but it looks like it's going to be more of a little bit of an obstacle course that you got to dodge in either a 2D landscape or a 3D one. As this one, he's going over this cliff. Gotta be careful not to fall, that's very thin. Or in this one in 3D, he's dodging giant boulders, but in a 3D aspect this time around. So he'll switch back and forth, very similar to that of Mario 3D World. It's also worth mentioning that going in this full speed mode, which is probably the turbo mode, holding down some sort of button, allows Kirby to break these metal crates. And upon breaking the crates, you get more collectibles, whether they're big crates or smaller ones. In the background, you can see a building with a giant crack on the corner of it, right through a window with lots of collectibles and a caged Waddle Dee. Now these cracks seem to appear often when there is a MOUTHFUL mode available in order for Kirby to smash it with whatever he has, I guess, in his mouth. In this case, he is Kirby, so he needs to drive up that ramp and probably crash into the right side of that building that we can't see the rest of the crack with. Also from the second trailer, it showed us officially that yes, that crack goes all the way and extends throughout the side of that wall where Kirby's just going to have to crash into it at the end of the path. But also, Kirby can jump as MOUTHFUL Car Kirby mode, and he can jump over paths and just different obstacles along his way. So there's actually more footage from the Japanese sites of Carmouth Kirby, and as you can see here, he's on some type of racetrack with different mud that he has to dodge. I mean, this is like Kirby Mario Kart at this point. This is pretty cool. We get to see more of the track as Kirby gets towards the end, and there's a little ramp that he can jump off for a red star collectible. But if you also look at the arch at the end, you'll see that there's a time limit for Kirby to finish, or maybe it's tracking his time for some type of extra reward if he completes it in a specific time. And just like we predicted before, we get to see Kirby actually drive through a cracked wall, and there's some cracked rocks at the top that he can also break through, but there's going to be some collectibles and stuff in there as he makes an archway with a bridge. We then get to see the racetrack again as Kirby's going around this roundabout, and he probably has to wait for the cages to get out of the way for him to continue. We can also see a checkpoint at the top right showing his time for that area and probably giving you a good idea as to like how fast you're going and how well you're doing. Something else I found out online which is very interesting is the signs on the side of the road actually start off with the letters of HAL. It's H-A-L, and each company starts off with those letters to obviously spell out the company HAL, which produces Kirby. Here we get to see Kirby take another secret path, breaking some rocks and also knocking down a wooden wall for a bridge for him to go up and collect some, collectible coins and stuff that is off the beaten path. And then finally we get a cool scene of Kirby busting through a wall and kind of drifting in front of the screen, which actually just looks pretty cool. Kirby looks really tough in this scene. It's probably the end of the level or the end of the first time you get this Car Kirby mode. Cone Mouth gives Kirby a giant cone in his mouth, and he walks around like a giant pyramid. And what he can do with this is once again break those giant metal crates by slamming into the ground with the tip of the cone head first. This is going to give him a headache for sure. But there's also cracks and things like water lines that he can pop open and ride up, and there's just different things that he can pretty much break open, finding collectibles and stuff along the ground, and he's pretty much used as like a jackhammer. There's no real other usage besides that, besides absolutely destroying things on the ground and also busting things open that have cracks in them. Next up, Kirby has Ring Mouth, which I'm not sure what he even eats. Is some type of ring light from some type of studio or something, but Kirby can pick it up and shoot gusts of air out of his mouth, and he can do this to push enemies away. He can do this to turn things on like giant fans in the background, and he can get on little raft boats and actually use it to push himself, kind of Mario Sunshine style. As he's pushing air backwards, he can travel with the boat. Now it looks like Kirby can also go over different areas within the water without just going straight to the end to explore different things. He goes over the whirlpool by using an extra boost right before he goes over it, and as you can see, the end of the level is up there at the top left. But you can still explore the water a little bit more, and if you look a little closer towards the beginning of Kirby jumping into the boat, you'll notice there's some areas, once again, cracked areas for Kirby to uncover. There's an area in the water in the top of the screen showing a cracked cave wall. Once again, this game seems to go with cracks as being the secret areas to find, so you'll probably have to slam that boat through that crack in order to find some type of secret collectible or maybe a hidden caged Waddle Dee. Next up, we have Vending Mouth. Kirby can actually use a vending machine in order to spit cans all over the place, and these can also break those metal boxes once again, and that's a pretty strong can to break those boxes. But we got another crack, and of course, that means Kirby has to do something with it with his mouthful mode. But once again, if you look closely, when Kirby throws certain cans, they can bounce off of regular objects and stay on the ground. This makes me think that after Kirby is done, maybe he can pick up these cans of pop or whatever it is and actually get some type of health from them, so he can literally heal himself like he could with the refrigerator copy ability in Kirby 64. With Light Bulb Mouth, it's actually very interesting that this light bulb isn't just sitting on the floor for no reason. If you look at the top left of your screen, you can see an actual light fixture that the bulb fell out of and that Kirby picked up, which is cool that it just kind of makes a reason for why everything is there. Well, with this, Kirby doesn't just get a giant head from the back and his little body hanging out. It kind of looks really funny. But what he can do with this is pretty much light up different solar panels in order to make things move within this funhouse. Kirby will also have to try to keep the room lit as best as he can because there will be things trying to hurt him and try to hit him within this dark haunted house kind of funhouse room. Like for instance, this cardboard alien pops out and then a platform comes out to try to push Kirby off the platform and fall into the pit below. But something else I found to be very interesting is get a listen to what this little alien cardboard creature sounds like. Yeah, it sounds oddly familiar to that of the boos from the Mario universe. I don't know if that was intended or if there's some type of cameo with that eventually, but yeah, I just thought that was actually pretty interesting. Next up we have Archmouth, which is literally just an arch that Kirby takes off of pedestals and uses to fly away. It also seems to do a scene transition where it puts Kirby in a completely different scene, where it moves to more of an on-rail flying mission that's out of the area that he's currently in, meaning that Kirby can't just fly anywhere he wants. He's gonna have to glide through a specific path. So Kirby's job is to just fly around, and he can weave left, right, up, and down, but he can also do a nice little spin move to hit enemies and knock them out the way. But he'll have to dodge a lot of things as he's going through here, as he's pretty wide with this arch in his mouth. But once again, we found another secret. Just because this is an unrail section doesn't mean there's not going to be secrets. If you look to the wall to the right, Kirby can make a right instead of veering to the left, and probably spin to break through this wall and find some hidden collectible as well. Now within that new trailer from Nintendo, we got more information on this as well, showing Kirby flying through some star rings, which the yellow ones seem to slowly speed him up a little bit, and maybe the red ones speed him up a lot. Or maybe they're just collectibles. Who really knows? Or maybe if you collect all of them, you'll get some type of special way unlocked that you can fly through, kind of like a Star Fox type of thing. Next up, we have Water Balloon Mouth Kirby, which reminds me of Mario from Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, as he could fill his body with water and just waddle around, shooting water out like Flood. Yeah, I mean, this has got to be some type of reference. But anyways, yeah, Kirby just kind of shoots water out his mouth and just clears a path and also defeats enemies. And as he clears paths, with the goop all on top of them, new ways open up and new areas open up. But that's really about it. He can barely move that fast and he can barely hop, but he can just kind of spray water. He can also water plants, which actually can give you some type of small collectible. Like here, as he waters the 4 potted plants, he gets some small coins, and that's really about it. This seems to be one of the most least interesting ones, but yeah. Now once again from Nintendo's official trailer, we see Kirby using the same thing in this desert area, but this time he's spraying away this poison, or this purple goop, whatever it is. But yeah, if you look in the background, there's some type of giant purple creepy creature, which we don't have a clue what that thing is. The only thing I can make out is there's some type of blue thing sitting on its head, which I don't know if it's like a buddy of his or if it actually is him in some weird way, but I obviously assume that Kirby has to go up and constantly spray water at it in order to shrink it down to size. Very similar to, once again, Mario's Sunshine and probably those naval piranhas where Mario has to shrink them down and kind of rid them by spraying water in their mouths. And this one has a mouth, so maybe his mouth opens as well. Now we get to see one more, being Scissor Lift Mouth. And this one is just a scissor lift. It lifts Kirby up and allows him to get to higher areas, which he might still have to have an item on him to use. For instance, Kirby has the drill item right now, and he can use the copy ability to go underground and get a collectible, but he will need that as he captures the forklift as well. And you can even see his little hat on the forklift, which makes me think you might be able to keep all of your capture abilities no matter what you use in mouthful mode. It'll just sit on top just like a hat. Because once again, Kirby is not capturing these things, rather just holding them with his mouth. And that is all of the Kirby Mouthful Mode video clips and information that we have so far. Of course, if new information comes out and new ones pop up, I will definitely let you guys know. But this was very interesting to see that this game is going to be very expansive and even have a little bit of a touch/pinch of Mario Odyssey with it, with these things. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of these. I know there's going to be a lot more, and probably some that might even tie into some of the bosses, because we know Kirby's going to have most of its main mechanics tie into the final boss. So I would love to see Kirby do MOUTHFUL mode on like some type of part of a giant robot, or some type of giant fist where he can punch things. I don't know. I think it'd be pretty cool. But let me know in the comments down below what you think of these, you know, I want to say captures, but MOUTHFUL modes. Would you like to see any more, and what types would you like to see? Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Kirby and the Forgotten Land and all things Nintendo in general. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.